Hey, Trajan, who's this guy?
I'm just visiting from the pit of misery.
Oh, dude, you'll fit right in. Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to this very special edition of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Temple, joined by my side, as always, by the terrible towel twirling Trajan, and we have a very special guest this week, hailing from the pit of misery himself, the resident Browns fan of the Trajan Temple Empire, Mr. Trent Richardson himself. That's actually not true. It is the brother of Trajan. He goes by Jordan Good. How are you today, sir?
Oh, dying inside.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we do every other week here. It's
Oh,
our
absolutely.
it's our favorite thing to do. All
So
right.
for what of you wanting to know, Jordan and I made a bet, and of course, this guy lost it, and so I think
Yeah.
that brings us to our segment this week.
Say
Yeah,
less, my
I don't
friend.
wanna-
Welcome to this week's episode of I Don't Want to Talk About It. So let's talk about it.
I don't.
Trajan,
I'll
you've
let-
been waiting all week for this moment, so you have the floor.
All right, so we have a fantastic game. Not really, 10-15, but the Steelers win against the Browns.
Ugh.
You know, a washed-up quarterback beating up a washed-up team. But I'll just let you break down. What did you think of this game? What was your takes?
Definitely the Steelers defense put us in those third and longs. Definitely can't run the ball all the time then. And you can just never run play action against TJ Watt, especially on that right side of our offensive line, especially once we lost Conklin to that dislocated elbow. So,
Yeah,
Oof.
they said it was a nasty one too, wasn't it?
yeah, he'll be out weeks.
Mm.
So, but
Yeah,
luckily
no,
we'll have that guy named Blake, as Baker put it in the playoffs last year. So Blake Hansel fill in.
gotcha. Good. No, I was definitely really impressed with how we held Nick Chubb. You know, I got him on my fantasy team for a reason. He is a beast, even though I hate to admit it. But yeah, I agree with your take. It was definitely a defensive struggle. T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett were showing why they're the top in their position there that week. Everyone on the offensive line was focusing on them, and just led out with a win there. And I would say you destroyed our kicker, though. I mean, the
Yeah.
brutality.
Mm.
It was a finisher move.
I know.
Goodness. So here's the deal. When I saw that play develop, I thought it was a mess up. I didn't realize it was a designed
Oh, me
play
too.
until I saw him rolling out. I'm like, oh, they're meaning to do this. Oh God, there's no one open. Oh God, he just got dropped on the back of his head.
Right.
That was
I
the
thought he
train of thought that it was going through my head as that play was developing. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I literally walked out of the room. I'm like, okay, PAT. I come back in, and that's when I see him rolling out. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on here? Why is he running? And then I saw him get taken. I'm like, ooh, that's not good. That's
Jordan,
really-
Jordan, you did have the best line on that, but Chris Boswell died for Mike Tomlin's sins.
Right. I didn't understand the call. I know it was kind of that gutsy move that Tomlin likes to do, but we were in PAT safe, so there was coverage,
Mhm.
and there was obvious coverage from the beginning. So
If Chris
definitely.
if Chris Boswell can rest his head on anything, he was the number 2 quarterback in that game.
I don't know.
What?
Baker did good.
At least for the Steelers, I guess.
Right.
What
Did you see his post
was that?
on? He posted on Instagram, I
Uh-oh.
think it was, dressed up as a QB for Halloween and got spooked.
I saw that.
At least he had a sense of humor about it. That's
Right.
But
yeah, another
Uh,
another solid day for Najee, I see as well. Not a 100-yard rushing day, but still he did end up getting a touchdown.
oh yeah, 100 yards total offense, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
He did have some receiving there. He's a beast as always. Well worth the first-round draft pick. I believe he's leading the NFL in rookie rushers.
He probably is.
Out there, but
Mm-hmm.
but he is leading. He is leading.
Yes, and as you say, speaking of draft picks too, probably the catch of the week belonging to Pat Freiermuth in the back of the end zone. That was he got the 10 toes down. He got the ball in his hands, and I thought it was I thought they were going to rule it incomplete at first in real time, but when I saw the replay of how he pulled it in, was able to drag that left foot, that was an amazing catch. So my hat's off to him for sure. You can't hate it. You can't hate that, honestly, as a fan of the game.
My neighbors heard me running around my yard screaming, "Suck it." That's what I was saying at that point. I was holding my composure on texting you throughout the whole game, but I was yelling "Suck it" the whole time on that one.
Right. I was standing up saying, he's out. And then I saw the replay, and I'm like,
crap, he's in.
Dang, he's in. So, I mean, you got to hand it to him. And it wasn't like we didn't have coverage there. It was amazing coverage, but an even more amazing catch. So.
Indeed. Kind of an off day for Dearness Johnson. Of course, I say off day as if every week he's expected to do what he did against the Broncos. Finishing up with 4 rushes for 22 yards, but still got a touchdown in this game nonetheless. So his streak continues.
Yep. Yeah, so still looking good for a guy that a few years ago was fishing for mahi and hoping to get back into the league. So
Exactly. Nick Chubb finishing with 16 rushes for 61 yards. Did not get a touchdown this week, but we can definitely expect to see him get the ball more often now that he's back. With Kareem Hunt, he's still out. Do we have a timetable yet on when he will return?
I believe a couple more weeks. I think we're expected to have him back from IR. Maybe before the Ravens in 3 weeks. So
that is definitely needed for a game like that, divisional game.
Right.
Jarvis Landry with 5 receptions for 65 yards. It was so painful, watching your receivers reminded me of my receivers for the Chiefs. It seemed like Baker would put it in the right spot. They just wouldn't come down with it, especially Odell. Oh, yeah. Odell had several, I thought, that he should have caught, but they just went right through, and that had to be frustrating to watch as a fan. Yeah.
The wide receivers definitely aren't doing Baker any favors. There were some errant throws, high throws, which have always been Baker's kind of Achilles heel when throwing. Not a lot of touch on his balls. So, but Njoku, tight ends have been reliable this season. Running backs out of the backfield. So we're not a heavy wide receiver team, but we need kind of that calm in down the field. So
it's very interesting. We're going to see these two teams face off against each other again, and I have a feeling it's going to be even more exciting matchup when that time comes. What week will the rematch be happening? I know it's not too far away.
I want to.
Week 17.
Yeah, week 17.
Wow. Okay, There we go. So perhaps maybe a chance to fight for a playoff spot in week 17. You never know. It's very much wide open for the AFC North.
Yep. And then we'll end our season on the Bengals. So kind of that same 1-2 punch that we're having right now, Steelers-Bengals, and then ending the season Steelers-Bengals. So
there you go. Yeah. All righty. Steelers-Ravens. There you go. All right.
Steelers-Ravens.
Moving on to the next game here too, and this was the game that I got the absolute pleasure of seeing live. Let's hear it, Kingdom. How about those Chiefs? Absolutely nothing wrong. Flawless victory. Nothing wrong. It was a statement win. Everything went according to plan. We took care of business against the Giants, and right now I'm going to shoot myself in the head because that was the worst game I have ever seen the Chiefs win live at Arrowhead, and I have been to dozens of Arrowhead games, and I felt my soul leaving my body watching this game while enjoying the game alongside our good friend Skate 3 Tommy. He is not on the show this week. We will definitely have him on. His first game his first time being at an NFL game, first time seeing his childhood team play live, and it was it was exciting at moments, but man, was it frustrating at times. Especially, we'll go through some of this here too. Pat Mahomes, 29 out of 48, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, after just ball hitting right in Jerick McKinnon's face, popping up into the air. Actually, it's weird. It went through Josh Gordon's hands, then hit Jerick McKinnon in the face, then popped straight up in the air, and then it was picked off. But it's okay, because Willie Gay to the rescue, 2 plays later, picks it off, sets the Chiefs up. They finally get a touchdown, 7-0. Stupid penalty by Dan Sorensen. I'm waiting for his days to be numbered, honestly. When Juan Thornhill came back in, things got a little bit better. Imagine that. Big play, gave it up, and they drive down the field, and they end up tying the game 7-7. Couple trading a possession here and there too. Chiefs get down the field. The surprise of the game, for me, was at running back. Derek Gore, the rookie, undrafted rookie that we picked up and we put on the practice squad, and he got signed to the main offense because Clyde Edwards-Helaire obviously suffering an injury. Derek Gore with 11 attempts for only 48 yards, but a touchdown. And I have to say that I told Trajan this earlier. There was like 4 Giants fans sitting in front of us, and they all asked me, "What's Frank Gore doing on your guys' team? I thought he retired." I said, "No, that's not Frank Gore." And I said it was Derek Gore. And they're like, "Oh, he has a son?" Like, "No, that's not his son. He's probably old enough."
Right.
He's probably old enough for that to be his son, honestly. But I was really impressed with Derek Gore. Trajan brought up a good point earlier when we were talking. I think we got away from the run way too often there. Obviously, especially you could see for yourself, Mahomes, 48 throws, 48 pass attempts. Right, that's Big Ben numbers right there, and not in the good way. Defensive wise, we had 3 sacks, and those 3 sacks came in the last 2 minutes.
Can you really be proud of 3 sacks versus the Giants?
And that's the deal. They were in the last 2 minutes also, because one was Frank Clark, one was Chris Jones, and I believe was the one that caused the fumble on 4th down. It was a strip sack that was recovered by an offensive player, but 4th down, you can't do that. It has to be recovered by the person that fumbled it. That ended the game ultimately. I loved seeing Alex Smith back at Arrowhead. That was cool. That was cool seeing him there.
That is right. I did see
Tim Grunhard, a longtime center. He was the center when Joe Montana played for Kansas City. He was inducted into the Chiefs Ring of Honor. That was cool to see. Receiving wise, really the only person that did very well was Tyreek Hill. 12 completions for 94 yards, including a touchdown. Kelsey, I'll proudly have his jersey in the background for my videos for the rest of the year, but that was very disappointing the way he turned the ball over, letting it get punched out of his hands. But that's been the Chiefs' offense this year. It seems like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They shoot themselves in the foot, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a dumb turnover, whether they stall on a 3 and out. They're just not as dynamic as they were the last couple of years. But I predicted it, but not as dire as this. I didn't think Mahomes and the offense was going to be as deadly this year, but I didn't think they'd be like this. I did see, I'll let you guys chime in just a second. I did see one interesting stat. The Chiefs offense leads the league in turnovers, but they're 4-4. Every other team that's underneath them only has 2 wins at most. So that tells me 2 things. So that tells me that obviously those turnovers are the main reason why they're 4-4. It's not just all on the defense, and I've said that multiple times. Our defense is horrible. I can't deny that. But when your offense continually shoots themselves in the foot, that's how you lose games. That's easily how you lose games. So, but that you guys can chime in now if you want.
Well, my brother and I, if there's one thing we agree on, it's hating the Chiefs. I mean, we love to see you guys suck. And this game, I don't even know if you felt like you won when you walked away from it. I mean,
it's always fun to win at Arrowhead. You paid your money, you got to see the game live. Just the energy of being in the stadium, that's always cool, and winning always adds to it. But like I said, I don't have that warm fuzzy feeling as much because of this game that I normally do. So I fully agree with that.
Yeah, I saw a stat where 3 of the last 4 games, the Chiefs have averaged under 5 yards per play, which is less than the Jets over that time frame.
I think I saw that too. Yep.
So
And
yeah, definitely not.
And I brought up last week that the Jets are better than the Chiefs. So I mean, I think we're making something here.
Right. Well, Mike White did lead the NFL this week in passing yards, so.
I mean, props to him for coming out and just saying, you know, I'm going to take the most of this situation and beating the Bengals for us. That was just.
Yeah. But definitely, the Steelers are not the Steelers. The Chiefs are just not a team that wants to drive the length of the field. Mm-hmm. They don't have the running game to do that, or they get away from the running game.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
The short to intermediary passes are just not what Patrick Mahomes wants. Mm-hmm. You can see those plays where he definitely has somebody open 5 yards down the field.
I think that'll change the older he gets, the more he matures with that, which makes me excited for the future because he can make a smart play. He just wants to go for the big play. So I'm excited to see as this career goes on. Obviously, I don't think this is the end of the world for Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
Barring a catastrophic injury, obviously that'll throw a wrench into stuff too. But I think because here's the deal. When he first came to the league, he said he admitted he had no idea how to read defenses. And now that he's learning more and more, I think that's going to help his game progress as his career goes on. But we brought up the Bengals here just a moment ago, so that's actually a good way to turn into our next segment. We will go through the final scores here. Thursday Night Football, an exciting matchup for Thursday Night Football. Who'd have thought, right? The previously undefeated Arizona Cardinals fall to the red-hot Green Bay Packers by a final score of 24-21.
With a bunch of scrubs for wide receivers and Randall Cobb. So, yeah, definitely that was a game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
In the fourth quarter. Beyond that, it was not much of a game.
Mm-mm.
The best thing that came out of it was the memes with Aaron Rodgers. On his side.
Do we think that one is better than the Eli Manning dirt face, or is it on this?
Or the Peyton Manning face with the kind of cutout mask,
yeah. or the one with the extended forehead.
It'll go down in those that level.
All right, well, good news for Browns fans. They're still not that far away from the Cincinnati Bengals as they fall at MetLife Stadium to the New York Jets by a final score of 34-31. Holy smokes, what an ending to that game that was. A little controversy there with the penalty towards the end there, but you know, that's they really shouldn't have put themselves in that situation to begin with, so you can't really blame the officials for that loss, but at the same time, you know, the Jets, they needed a win, something to get some momentum, and what better way to do it against the at that time the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Right.
So, no, they've taken on 2 top teams, Titans and Cincinnati, and both came out victorious. So.
That's the crazy thing to me too.
Going on.
They do the opposite of the Steelers. They play up to their competition.
Right. It's that Robert Saleh moxie.
There you go.
Brings up his team, so.
Absolutely. Another near upset, and I was really rooting for them, honestly. The Indianapolis Colts fall in overtime to the Tennessee Titans, but that's not even really the big story of that game. The big story, Derrick Henry potentially lost for the season. I haven't heard officially yet, but the way things are sounding, it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, Jones fracture isn't a fun thing to go through.
No.
So, especially for a bigger running back. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pressure on the feet.
Yes.
So definitely probably won't see him regular season. Maybe playoffs, but that'll rest.
Bonus points. Can you guys name the secondary running back for Tennessee?
Is it Jeremy McNichols, Boise State?
I have no idea.
Jeremy McNichols.
That is how important Derrick Henry is. I don't even know who the secondary running back is for Tennessee.
Now it's all day.
Yep.
They signed all day.
They did.
So.
Holy crap, they did. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. That was I blew snot when I saw that. I was like, he's still alive? He's like Frank Gore. Yeah. He's like Frank Gore level at this point.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then they also signed Deontay Foreman to their practice squad.
There you go.
So I mean, you need like 4 running backs to replace one Derrick Henry.
I can just imagine a diamond formation of running backs behind Ryan Tannehill and
run the
keep them guessing. Yep.
Back the wishbone.
There we go.
Yeah.
The expected result in this one, the Los Angeles Rams go to NRG Stadium, take care of business against the Houston Texans. Although Houston, it was mostly garbage time. I'm pretty sure the Rams were up 38-0, and then the Texans got 22 straight points, much good as it did them. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles taking care of business against the Detroit Lions. Detroit still being the only remaining winless team at this moment in time. 44-6, which is, I did not know this, the Philadelphia's largest margin of victory on the road anyway since 1981.
Oh wow!
Yes. So some history has been made once again at the expense of the Detroit Lions. It seems to be a weekly occurrence for them.
Just as their coach put it, a sea of trash.
So we don't expect them to move up from the tier they currently are in that. This was an interesting game. The San Francisco 49ers taking down the Chicago Bears 33-22. I figured this one would be a little bit closer because the 49ers have been very schizophrenic, it seems like, this season.
Yeah, and I definitely think the final score does not relay how close it was. It looked back and forth just by my average Joe score watching up until the end when they went up by 10, I believe. So, definitely. Their defense let Justin Fields look good. So enough so that he won Rookie of the Week.
Oh, that's right, he did. I missed that. I missed that. Now moving on to Carolina taking down the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 19-13. Pretty close game there. Panthers trying to also shed their fraudulent status. They were much like the Broncos, went 3-0 and then proceeded to lose 4 straight games. They get back to their winning ways this week, which is something they definitely need, considering the results of the Tampa Bay New Orleans Saints game that went down, which we will talk about here in just a moment. The Buffalo Bills taking down the Miami Dolphins. My goodness, if you would have told me this late in the season the Miami Dolphins would only be 1-7 and give the Jacksonville Jaguars their first win, I wouldn't have believed it. I thought they were really turning the ship around with Brian Flores and Tua.
Right.
I think a lot of it has to do with these rumors about the Watson trade. Now it can't happen.
I was gonna say which is now gone. Those are off the table completely.
Right.
But really hurt Tua and his progression, having to look over his shoulder, feeling like he has to be perfect. Of course,
I'd say their defense regressed more than their offense. I know their offense is pitiful, but their defense has been letting people score on them. So, granted, the Bills are not just an average Joe team with Josh Allen, Diggs. But yeah, definitely that defense is not looking like a Brian Flores-led defense. So
absolutely not. That's the deal. It's like last season they were probably a blink of an eye away from securing a playoff spot. Now this year they definitely look like they'll be on the outside looking in at best, especially with the way that everything's been going for them. It definitely seems like the Bills' division to lose, but we will definitely see as the weeks go on because the New England Patriots, this was another surprise for me this week, go on the road to SoFi Stadium and take down the Los Angeles Chargers by a final score of 27-24. The Chargers, for the first few weeks, looked like that they would really be trying to run away with the AFC West, but now it's looking like a competition again.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely Bill Belichick. Loves his younger quarterbacks. Throws different defensive formations, coverage at his opponents. So took away that deep threat from Mike Williams. So
Yes.
that kind of definitely stagnates that offense.
Do we still have the faith in the Chargers at this point there? They've let go some pretty big...
Mm-hmm.
I do. They still have... Because what they finished last year in your guys' division?
I believe they were 6-10.
Right?
They were 6-10 or 7-9. I can't remember which were. They were on the outside looking in because the Raiders and the Broncos were both down. Can't remember, but yeah. But yeah, it's the deal. It's like Trajan and I talk about this all the time. It seems like every year they always hype the Chargers up to be a really strong team, and this year they started to actually look like it, but now they're getting in their own way right now.
Right.
That they definitely needed that win over Kansas City to really show that they were serious about taking the division, but ever since then, it's been kind of a tough stretch for them.
Yeah, luckily they do have still the Eagles, the Vikings, the Giants, the Texans on their schedule. So
Yes.
Those are 4 very winnable games. Of course, then you've got your division games with the Broncos mixed in, the Chiefs again. I think they end the season at the Raiders. So 2 games against the Broncos.
The Chiefs will end at the Broncos. So yeah, that is correct on that. Now moving on to the another expected outcome: the Seattle Seahawks taking down the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-7.
I'll be honest, this game I saw that when Geno Smith scored, I was like, who do they even play? And then I had to look at it and be like, oh, it's the Jaguars. They exist.
Yes, they're still a team.
Right.
My question is, who would you rather be the coach of? The Lions or the Jags at this point?
Ooh, Shad Khan's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
I would have to go with the Jags.
I would like the weather. If I'm going to lose, I might as well lose in better weather.
Right.
And clearly the nightclub scene is so much better. And
Right.
You know what the sad part is? It was in Ohio.
That was in Ohio. You're right. That was in Ohio. Dang it.
Yeah.
Well, even still, I guarantee the nightclub scene is so much better in Jacksonville than it is in Detroit.
Right.
That's just a given at that point. So
When you get shot in Detroit.
I bet there are people dying to shoot Dan Campbell right now. I'm certain, and probably Jared Goff too. Honestly, at this point. Speaking of a shootout, this game was not. The Denver Broncos and the Washington football team. It's a final score of 17-10, and this game was the definition of I don't want to win, you win. No, you win. No, you take this game. No, you take this game. Holy smokes! And I was dying for Washington to do it, but at the end they wanted it more, and by wanting it, I mean they wanted to lose more. It seemed like.
Right, and I mean Chris blew it, getting 2 kicks blocked. What a name to have for that week.
Yes.
I think, what was it, like 3 of his first 4 NFL kicks have been blocked. So
that sounds right. Yeah, but that's crazy to me.
Let's get some more lift on those kicks, bud.
No kidding. No kidding.
I would almost say that this game just epitomizes the AFC West.
Oh my god.
I don't want it. You have it. No, you have it. Oh,
Right?
We're really not that good.
Yeah. And the team
man.
that loses their head coach is the one that's doing the best.
Right.
It's
Like
just
I said,
Oh man.
it's Derek Carr season.
It's been Derek Carr's season since 2016. How well was that done for him?
Right?
All right. We mentioned earlier the NFC South, rather. I about said East. Definitely not the NFC East. The New Orleans Saints. This was kind of a surprise to me, taking down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-27. It appears though that this is the only bright spot for New Orleans, as it was announced earlier on the day we're recording it that Jameis Winston is done for the season. So is it Taysom time now in New Orleans?
Well, he's still in the concussion protocol.
Oh, that's right, he is. Oh my
He
gosh.
may be in that extended. Who knows? I mean, concussion protocol.
Was
It was Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian,
Yep.
that's right. The Broncos great Trevor Siemian, the successor to Peyton Manning, the learned under the Peyton Manning football tree and carried the Broncos to many glorious victories and playoff wins.
And Clifton, can you guess who their leading receiver was?
I don't even know. Was it who was it?
Kevin White.
Oh,
first round pick for the Bears.
It only took him long enough. It only took him this long, huh?
Right? I think the last time he caught a pass was like 2017.
And all of Chicago goes.
Right. Granted, it was one reception for 38 yards.
but still.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay, though, they're banged up right now on offense. No Antonio Brown. No Gronk. I think they have a few more injuries there, but
I think Mike Evans has been playing hurt, I want to say, or not Mike Evans. What's his name? Godwin.
Chris
Godwin. That's right. Yep. Yeah.
I feel like that's no excuse, though. They have, when Antonio Brown's healthy, they have one of the best wide receiver corps. But even losing Antonio Brown, you still have Godwin. You still have Mike Evans. And losing Gronk, you still have Cameron Brate. You still have O.J. Howard, who is a freak.
Yes.
I think during the broadcast, he's measures in at 255, 6'6". So, I mean, he is an athletic freak.
Yes, he is.
So, bottled up run offense, and then you're having Brady just throw more 40 passes. So, I mean, it just invites disaster, especially when you're letting sacks through. 3 sacks. So, and I believe 1 or 2 of those were sack fumbles. So.
That's right. Yep, it was a turnover happy game for Brady, which he's not very used to having. So,
Right.
We're staying on the subject of backup quarterbacks. A backup quarterback took care of business on Sunday Night Football. Cooper Rush for the Dallas Cowboys keeps the winning streak going. Brings them up to 6-1, taking down the Minnesota Vikings by a final score of 20-16. And if you're a Vikings fan, I'm sure you just want to die inside right now watching the team.
Right. Pretty damning evidence of some dysfunction with a double timeout called by Zimmer. Kirk Cousins not having the freedom to call timeouts. So it looks like Zimmer may be on that hot seat.
It could very well be. That's the deal. It's like seems like the hashtag Fire Zimmer is starting to trend now in Minnesota, but we will definitely see. They seem to find a way to always sneak in, and if it's against New Orleans, they'll do okay in the playoffs, but if it's anybody else, then they're usually one and done. So.
Right.
Yeah. It's just been really sad to see the Vikings just go down the way they have. I mean, it looked like there was just so much there for them, and then it's just gone downhill.
Right. Prior to our game, they were one of the hottest offenses. So post that, it kind of went downhill. Hasn't been the same. Dalvin Cook, who knows if he's completely healthy, hasn't been running as hard. Lots of goal line rushes for losses. So
do you think having Stephon Diggs would maybe help with the Vikings?
I actually don't think so. I think that they just kind of have a lot of maybe questionable calls on their offense. I think, what is it? Kirk Cousins is on his 5th or 6th offensive coordinator. Third one in the past 3 years. So, so definitely, granted, they're all from the same tree, but definitely some issues there. The other thing that I thought about was Harrison Smith, the video on the sidelines of him. At first, it looked like maybe he was stuck on CeeDee Lamb, but definitely was a choking. I think a video came out of a mic'd up with CeeDee Lamb where he was like, "Dude was choking me,"
and I kind of liked it.
Right? Exactly, but let's be honest, the offense choked that game away. I think towards the end of the game, they ran a draw play with Madison and had to go 3 and out. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, there were some loud boos coming from the stadium.
Absolutely. Alrighty, well that is week 8 in review. There's all the scores there too. So we will now move on to our week 8 progress report. As you can see on your screen here is the tiers that myself and Trajan have created week 4 based on how the team's records, how they were doing, and obviously some big things have happened since then. So we are now ready to change things up a little bit, but I think these bottom 4 teams that I'm going to start out with will probably stay where they are. And in the trash category, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Houston Texans. Do you guys have anything to say in regards to whether they should move up, or are they where they belong?
Is there a tier? That's my question.
Is there a tier below that? I mean, I could always make it for the next time we do this, if we absolutely need to, and it may not be that far off. Obviously, Detroit Lions still being the only winless team in the league. The Texans at 1-7. The Dolphins 1-7. The Jacksonville Jaguars 1-6. So actually, I'm going to make an executive decision right now. The Miami Dolphins are going to the bottom right off the bat. So we now have 5 in the trash category, and I don't think either of you would probably disagree with me in that front.
I can make a case for even the football team being in that trash category.
Ah.
I mean, you look at Heineke. I mean, he's had some flashes, but I mean, Antonio Gibson's not running the ball. He's playing hurt. So, not looking like a good offense, and then their defense is not looking near as elite as they had hoped to be.
Very good. I would tend to agree with that. So we will move them down, and we have a 6th joining us in the trash category. Someone that you would think would be in the trash category, but actually they may move up a spot just for the wins that they have. The New York Jets. We have them at bleh. Do we want to move them up to meh, or are they where they belong still?
They're blah.
They're blah.
They're blah. Alrighty. Next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the blah competition. Do we move them up to meh? They are 500.
I'd go meh.
You go meh? I say
playoff.
Playoff contender. Hey, there you go.
Playoff. Going that way.
I want one more win.
I'll break even with you, Clifton, because I'll just say right now, the Kansas City Chiefs right now, the way they're playing, they are meh, in my opinion, and it hurts my soul to say that right now. So we'll upgrade the Steelers. We are downgrading the Chiefs. So now we're on even terms, Trajan, where our fates are tied, as you have pointed out.
Yes, they are.
The others I have in the black category: the San Francisco 49ers, Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts, New Orleans Saints, New York Giants, and Philadelphia Eagles. There's one team on that list that I would like to move up, but now that they've lost their franchise quarterback, boy, it's going to be a tough sell to see them progress from this point on, and that is the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, they could be going down. So I'd like to see the Colts get a couple more wins and maybe move up to more of that meh category. Looks like Carson Wentz has been kind of a redemption with being back with Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm. And that's the deal. Is like if they the way they played the Titans, that gives it's definitely going to give them hope and give them a morale boost. And now that Derrick Henry, their main offensive weapon, is most likely lost for the season, I mean the Colts could really make a push.
Right.
Yeah, and they did play the Ravens really strong too and lost in overtime.
That's right. That's right. The New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles probably keep them in the same category, although the Giants nearly did take down the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears probably still in that same category. I really can't think of moving anybody else up from there. So moving on to the meh category, obviously I've got the Chiefs and the Steelers. One moving up, one moving down, regrettably in that way. Also in this is the Minnesota Vikings, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks, and New England Patriots. Starting with the Vikings, I may have to downgrade them just the way these last few weeks have been for them.
Blah.
Yep,
Blah, blah.
I think definitely a bleh team. I would say that the Bengals maybe deserve that playoff ranking. Since we're ranking them, I don't know. We're ranking them as is.
As is right now, and although they did stumble against the New York Jets, they were in fact the number one seed overall in the AFC beforehand. So we'll see when we could revisit this if that loss truly defined them. But I would agree. I think I'd have to move them upgrade them to playoff contender right now as it stands. Carolina Panthers, I think that they are where they belong at this moment, alongside the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks just haven't been as impressive as what they could be, which the same could be said about the New England Patriots.
Right, and Seahawks have their bye this week. Hopefully they can even get Russell Wilson back. He got the pin taken out, I think, either yesterday or today. So
Let Russ cook.
There we go.
Let him cook.
Let's see if he cooks up more than Apple turnovers in the next few weeks. All right, moving on to our playoff contenders, and I see one right now. I'm staring at his horsey little eyes right now, and I am just screaming fraud right now.
We need to go down.
The Denver Broncos, but the question is, are they meh or are they bleh?
I'm going to go with let's go ahead and move them down to bleh until they can show something other than winning over winless teams or failing teams. So,
Trajan, would you concur?
Well, I would say so too, and they just traded off one of their best defensive players.
Very true.
I think they're thinking that they are a bleh team that they need to get value.
That is the biggest drop from our Week 4 list that we made, from playoff contender to bleh. Not quite trash, but by God, that could change. If they would have lost to Washington, probably trash at that point. But they did end up winning. Sure. They did end up winning that game, and Washington was not a winless team. So I guess that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
Alrighty, we upgraded the Cincinnati Bengals from meh to playoff contender. We also have the Las Vegas Raiders at playoff contender, which I would have to say they will probably stay at that moment for now. We will see when Week 12 rolls in how they progressed. It seems like they're doing okay with not having John Gruden at the helm, but as the weeks go on, we will definitely see. We have the Green Bay Packers also a playoff contender. Are we ready to move them to the Super Bowl category after their victory over Arizona?
No.
I think their offense isn't hitting on all cylinders yet. Defense is banged up. Granted, Rasul Douglas and Eric Stokes are doing a good job of filling in at corner, but still definitely some questions on the defense.
So we believe that was just a minor stumble by the Arizona Cardinals, and we shouldn't quite glorify the Packers just yet. Still a little bit of season left, so we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
All right. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. I've got to keep them probably where they are, even after the loss to New England, because we'll definitely see as time goes on whether they truly deserved the division title. But right now, the way things are going, it's looking like it's still their division to lose. The Raiders could give them a run for their money, but then again, if the Chiefs can figure out not getting their own way, maybe they can step back into playoff contention. We'll see. They got a tough stretch coming up, whereas the Chargers definitely can have some winnable games where they can make progress on. The Los Angeles Rams, I would definitely keep them where they're at playoff contender alongside The
I'm gonna hold you up.
what we got here?
I want them in Super Bowl contention.
The Los Angeles
I feel
Rams.
Like they have. I feel like that their offense is proven
Ah.
that between Darrell Henderson, as well as that passing game, they do have a great team, as well as they do have a defense that also is now pairing Von Miller with Aaron Donald.
I would agree with that. Trajan, do you have any thoughts on that? Would you agree?
Oh my gosh, there's going to be sacks everywhere for any opposing QB. I mean, how do you're already double teaming Aaron Donald,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to double team Von Miller too.
So the left tackle is going to have to cover. I think they run a 4-3, so they're going to have to cover two. Or do they run a 3-4?
I forget actually. I don't know how their scheme is too. But you two have convinced me. So we will add our second NFC team to Super Bowl caliber right now.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got the Dallas Cowboys, who will obviously just the way the rest of the NFC East is, they unless they absolutely just implode, I don't see no reason why they won't at least make the playoffs with what they're doing right now. Even with Dak Prescott battling injury, I'm sure he'll be back and he'll be okay.
Yeah. I still say they're frauds. I know.
Well, regular season frauds or playoff frauds, that's two different things. So we will definitely see once January rolls around.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we have 3 AFC North teams in playoff contender right now, including the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns.
I think we need to go down to
okay.
And even borderline bleh lately is how we've been playing, but I would say comfortably we're in meh territory. These next few weeks will show what we're made of, whether we belong to go back up or if we need to even go down further.
It sounds like you're in a similar situation as the Chiefs right now, so we will definitely see how these next few weeks dictate our fortunes. The Baltimore Ravens, obviously coming off a bye week this week, they've had a couple stumbles here and there, but they definitely, with Lamar at the helm, look like a good solid team. So who would have thought we would be talking about the Bengals and Ravens battling for the AFC North? Although it's still halfway through the season, still too early to call. The Steelers and Browns could very well make another push for a division title. So week 12, when we come back, we will definitely have to revisit the AFC North and see who's really in control of their own destiny.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would still believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will most likely take the NFC South, even with the stumble against the New Orleans Saints. I just don't have any faith in the Panthers or the Falcons, especially with McCaffrey out, and it's the Falcons to really give them a run for their money. So it's definitely Tampa Bay's division to lose. So now is the interesting part. Do we believe that Tennessee is still a playoff contender if Derrick Henry is lost for the year?
I would say they're still playoffs. Just because if you look at their divisional foes, they're up 2 games, with both games being beats where they beat the Colts. They beat them twice.
That was a big win. That was a much bigger win than only because of the Derrick Henry situation, because of that situation.
Right. Yeah. And then you know that unless the Jaguars or Texans have a miracle, really it's their division to lose rather than their division to win. So
absolutely.
Plus, I have more faith in Variable, whatever his last name is.
Vrabel, yes.
Than all the other coaches.
That's fair.
Frank
Reich is okay, but yeah.
I would say that Frank Reich is a better coach than Vrabel.
It'd be pretty close. It'd be pretty close between the two of them, I would have to say.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, Tannehill has shown that he can pass. So we just will have to see if Julio can get healthy and they can bring him and AJ Brown together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, and that brings us to our Super Bowl contenders. We just upgraded the Los Angeles Rams to that spot. Wouldn't that be interesting? The Rams playing in their home stadium, so 2 years in a row where that would happen. And the Buffalo Bills, although they stumbled against Tennessee Titans, but they still seem like a very complete team to me, and it definitely seems like we will see them back at the very least the AFC Championship game. Whether who they play takes them down or not, we shall see. I wouldn't call it a dynasty yet for the Bills, but Josh Allen and that dynamic offense, they definitely look like a threat this year.
As well as that defense. That defense does look good too. So definitely a plethora of pass rusher. So
I still say anyone can beat them.
But any given Sunday.
Sunday, exactly. All right. And the Arizona Cardinals, who showed that they were mortal this past Thursday night with their first loss to the Green Bay Packers. I don't think it's time yet to hit the panic button if you're a Cardinals fan. You've still got a very talented squad, both on offense and defense. Obviously, sucks to hear about J.J. Watt potentially. Is it season ending? I haven't heard yet. I heard it's pretty.
It's season ending.
It is season ending. Okay. Yes.
Right. And then Kyler does have a 1 to 3 week ankle sprain that he had happen on, I think, the second to last play on their last drive. So that'll, depending on how that heals, mobility is one of his strengths. So that could give them a little bit more weakness. So
we are recording this on a Tuesday evening, so we will definitely keep tabs on that as the weeks go on. So there you have it. That is our updated tier rankings for Week 8. And we are definitely excited to see how the second half of the season goes for all of our teams here. Any closing thoughts from either of you good gentlemen before we call it a night?
Yeah, I just got to get this off.
Oh, no. I was about to say, I'm loving the side of this. I'm loving it.
There it is. Oh, the baker has arrived.
Yeah, it feels more comfortable. I told Clifton that I may have to just get the lighter out and just light it on the camera. But then he reminded me I had to buy him 2 jerseys if I destroyed his one.
That's fair.
Because it was a prime Big Ben jersey.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. It was a prime Big Ben. That was back with the 3Bs in jersey. So, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh my goodness. Well, at least Trajan.
How many Super Bowls did the 3Bs get together?
A lot in my mind.
All in Madden.
That's all that matters. Yeah, a winner is you in your own mind. Alrighty, that is our show for this week. Bit of a longer episode this week, but we had a lot to cover. It was I had a great time though today. I'd like to thank our special guest this week, Mr. Jordan Good, aka Trent Richardson. Our resident Browns fan. Always good to have a guest on the show, and we look forward to having more guests alongside too. Once again, thank you, sir, for joining this week, and having to put up with having that number 7 on your body the whole time.
I know. Maybe we'll meet again in weeks after week 17 when I foolishly do the same bet again.
That would be exciting. I'm definitely down to do that too.
We'll go ahead and lock that bet in right now.
Oh, there we go. You heard it here for folks.
We'll do it.
Live on air, baby. We got a bet.
You know what the fitting thing is? You take off the number 7 and you reveal 6, which is the same amount of Super Bowls the Steelers have. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
I know. I don't have a number 8 for how many championship games we actually have won.
Ah, there we go.
There's 370.
All right.
We do have the greatest player of all time.
That is true. He is one of the best of all time. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show this week. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Tell all of your friends. And thank you so much for joining us. We are at the halfway point of the season, and we look forward to enjoying the second half with every single one of you. Thank you, and have a great night.